Welcome back everyone. This video will be about the initial installation of Splunk on Linux now that we have an AWS instance. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do is log into our Linux instance. This is also called SSHing. If you were following along in the last video, you should have a saved session. Just go ahead and click that and click load and then click open. Once again, go ahead and log in as ec2-user. Next up, we're going to download a full instance of Splunk. So if you just go to Google and type in Splunk download, we're going to go through a million steps because Splunk doesn't know how to make this easy for us. We're going to go ahead and click download free trial. It's going to ask you to log in. Go ahead and click log in. If you don't have a Splunk account, I suggest you create one. Once you log in, you'll be brought to the download page of the newest version of Splunk. You can download older releases with the link in the corner, but we're going to go ahead and go to Linux and download the TGZ file. This is also known as a tarball. While that's downloading, we're also going to go ahead and click the link on the top right called command line wget, and we're going to copy that command. We're going to need it later. Now that we have our tarball or installation file, we're going to go ahead and log in using WinSCP. This is very similar to PuTTY in that we're going to put the IP in hostname, type in ec2-user, go to advanced, go to authentication, and browse for our security key. Then we're going to go ahead and log in. Once we log in, we'll authenticate to the server the same way we did with PuTTY, but this time we'll have a GUI. Next step is very simple. We're just going to go ahead and click the back button here. Do it again. And you'll end up in the root directory. We're going to go to the temp directory located at the bottom, TMP. And then we're just going to simply drag and drop. This will start transferring the file over. Now you may notice that your transfer rate from your home environment is rather slow, so we're going to go over another way to get the Splunk installation file up to the instance. As a real quick note, we're going to start running a bunch of Linux commands now. If you are new to Linux and do not know what these commands mean, do not worry, we're going to have a video on this later. Go ahead and type sudo su root. This switches user to the root user. Then we're going to do cd to /tmp or change directory. Now we're going to go ahead and get that command we copied from Splunk. If we go ahead and copy that to our clipboard, in PuTTY, you're going to go ahead and right click to paste and then hit enter. This will begin a download of the file into the current directory, which is our TMP directory. You'll notice that it downloads much quicker using wget. Now that we have our tarball downloaded, we're going to go ahead and type in tar-xvzf, type in spl, and then hit the tab button, which will tab out the rest of the file name, -C, space /opt, and hit enter. This basically unzips the file into the opt directory, which is the optional directory. Now, technically, this has installed Splunk, but we're going to need a Splunk user, so type in user add, all one word, and then space Splunk, cd to the /opt directory, type in ls. You'll see that the Splunk directory exists. However, if we type ls space -latr, we'll notice that Splunk is not owned by the Splunk user that we created. So we're going to type in chown for change owner, -R, space Splunk, :Splunk, then Splunk again. This will change all of the directory of Splunk and the subdirectories to be owned by the Splunk user. Now that Splunk is owned by the Splunk user, we're going to type in su to switch user again to Splunk, then /opt/Splunk/bin/Splunk space start space --accept -license, hit enter. You're going to need to put in a username, put admin, then put in your password, confirm your password, and Splunk will start for the first time. Now, Splunk is running on your AWS instance, but if you go to your browser, put in your IP at port 8000, you'll notice that you just time out. That's because we haven't set the security groups for the Splunk instance. To do that, we got to go back to our instances page on AWS, go to the security tab, click on the security group link, click edit inbound rules, click add rule, go down to custom TCP, hit port 8000, go to drop down to my IP and click save. If you go and run it again, all of a sudden you should be able to hit your Splunk instance. Congratulations, you've installed Splunk on a AWS instance in the cloud, as we can see from logging in.